Let it be known, May 4th, 2022, the Rowdy Telez game. What a night. Brewers blow out the Reds. It's good to be back. Let's talk about it on Locked On Brewers.
You are Locked On Brewers, your daily Milwaukee Brewers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Good morning, Feliz Cinco de Mayo, and thanks for making us your first listen of the day. I am Dominic Cotroneo. Thanks for tuning in to Locked On Brewers. Apologies again for missing yesterday's episode. I'll have a full explainer on that at the very end if you'll indulge me at the very end of this podcast. But we are your only daily podcast dedicated to your Milwaukee Brewers. All the news and notes that you need to know about your team to get ready for the day. Yesterday, man, oh man, oh man. Rowdy Telez. What else is there to say? Just get the stuff right off the bat. First ever 8 RBI game for Milwaukee Brewer. He has a 2-homer game for the 7th time in his career, 6th time in his career, 2nd time as a Brewer. He gets his first 4-hit game in the contest, going 4 for 6. It was an offensive onslaught. Brewers win 18-4. We're going to talk about Rowdy. We're going to talk about the offense as a whole on this run that they're on right now. Get ready for the finale here today, and then a big 3-city road trip coming up for the next week or so. First and foremost, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button wherever you get your podcasts. If this happens to be the first podcast you are listening to from us here on Locked On Brewers, I am Dominic Cotroneo, statistician of Valley Sports Wisconsin, giving you all the stats that we have from this game, because, man, there are a lot to get to from last night's game. Also, check out our YouTube page. The video version of all of our podcasts are uploaded there as well. Just had an interview with Eno Saris uploaded as well. That was from Tuesday's episode. We also uploaded the next episode of In the Hopper. We took a deep dive into how the Brewers have been robbed in their expected slugging rates and that they have been hitting the ball hard and doing their end of the job, but haven't been able to get anything out of it until, well, yesterday. So that leads us into talking about Rowdy Telez. Lest we forget, the Brewers were down 2-0 after 1 inning in this game. It's kind of hard to remember that the Reds took advantage of a really tight strike zone from the start of this game, and Freddy Peralta, a couple of close pitches that he didn't get. An RBI single for Mike Moustakas on a great 9-pitch at-bat. And then Colin Moran gets a sac fly. It was a laborious first inning for Freddy Peralta. Get this. In his career, he has an over 8 ERA in the first inning, whereas from innings 2 through 6, it's 2.71. As we've said all along, if you get Freddy through the first, you're smooth sailing. And that's what he was, pretty much. It was a little bit more labor intensive and a little more high stress pitches than maybe the Brewers had hoped for out of him, given the run the starters have been on. He goes 5 innings working into the 6th, 5 hits, 3 runs all earned, 2 walks and 7 strikeouts. He threw a total of 98 pitches, which is a season high for him, 63 strikes. So it's 2-0 after the top half of the inning. And I know this is the Rowdy Telez game, but Colton Long went yard to lead off again. It's his 10th career leadoff homer, and this is where the stats really start to get wacky in this game. He did it on the 12th pitch of the at-bat against Vladimir Gutierrez. That makes it the 3rd longest at-bat to hit a leadoff home run since pitch tracking became official in 1988. So we don't have anything for certain before 1988, but he is only the third. He has the 3rd longest AB to have a leadoff home run in a game. The record belongs to Nationals manager Davey Martinez, by the way. So Dave has a 15-pitch at-bat when he was with the Expos, and Bo Bichette had a 13-pitch at-bat back in 2019 to hit a home run to lead off the game. So Colton sets the tone immediately, hits a solo homer as the first batter of the game. Willie grounds out, so 1 out. And then it's Christian Yelich. He hits a double, a rocket, 111 miles an hour off the bat to right field. He gets on second with 1 out. They try to pick him off at second for some reason, the Reds being the Reds. They throw it into center field. Yelly gets to third. Clean single for McCutchen. So now, boom, you blink, and it's a tie game, 2-2. Then Rowdy gets a single into center field, just dumps one out there, puts runners on the corners, but that was it. The Brewers ended up grounding into a double play. So it's only a 2-2 game after 1. Neither team scored in the second, and then things got rowdy. 3rd inning. The rally started to form. with a couple of walks against Vladimir Gutierrez, some good ABs against him in yesterday's game. Adames was hit by a pitch in the helmet, which was very, very scary, but caught him in the flesh of the helmet, right on the logo, and it was a glancing blow, so he's fine. Yelich walked, and then a line drive single to center by McCutchen had to hold everybody up, and Rowdy Tellez on the second pitch of the AB crushes a grand slam to straightaway center field, his 6th homer of the year, and his 3rd career grand slam. Some notes on that grand slam. He crushed it. 111.6 miles an hour off the bat. It's the hardest hit grand slam by a Brewer in the StatCast era. 453 feet, the estimated distance. That's the 2nd longest grand slam by a Brewer. In 2019, Yelly had it by 1 foot, and it's the 20th grand slam in the StatCast era of at least 450 feet. So pretty darn good stuff there for Rowdy. All of a sudden, the Brewers are in control. They lead 6-2, but they were far, far from done in this game. Look, the Reds are 3-21. I'm going to have a rant on them in the last segment coming up here in a little bit, but man, oh man, it's rough right now. I don't know how else to pour one out for your homies over there in Cincinnati, because this is a tough go for them right now. And they're gonna try to avoid a sweep today against the Brewers, who are clearly better than them. They're big league players. I know that, but it's a AAA talented team right now. And to be fair, they are dealing with a ton of injuries. No India, no Votto, no Farmer. No Shogo Akiyama. It just hasn't worked out. TJ Friedl is leading off for them. Aramis Garcia is their primary catcher. Tyler Stevenson's been coming off the bench here and there. It's just not a well-built roster, and that's what they're going through right now. So games like this are going to be more of the ordinary for them. The fact that they're 3-21 and they won 2 games on opening weekend against the Braves, it makes no sense. Back quickly to the game recap. So it's now 6-2. Brewers leading over the Reds at this point. It's all systems go. The offense smelt blood in the water. They never turned back from there. Cincinnati got 1 in the 5th off of Freddy. Milwaukee responds with 1 more in the 5th. And then they scored in each of their last 4 innings in the 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. 2 runs in the 6th, 4 more runs in the 7th, and then 5 more runs in the 8th inning. Look, 3-4-5 in the order today was phenomenal. We already talked about the Rowdy accolades. Let's look about this entire lineup here. Okay, first of all, 3-4-5 in the order. When it combined 10 for 15 yesterday. Okay, Yelich, McCutchen, Tellez. A combined 10 for 15. They scored 7 of the 18 runs. They hit 3 doubles, 2 homers. They drove in 14 runs. And Rowdy said it post-game. Yes, he's the headline of the game, but do not ignore what Andrew McCutchen was doing to set up Rowdy Tellez. Kutch was on base 4 times. He hit the ball hard a few times. He scored twice. He had a double. 4 runs batted in for him. What a game for McCutchen. We would be talking about Kutch more if Rowdy didn't hit 2 homers and nearly have a third with a grand slam. Would have been the first Brewer ever to have 2 grand slams in the same game. Would have been only the 3rd time in team history they hit 2 grand slams in the game overall, let alone be the same guy hitting the grand slam. As a team, they went 9 for 20 with runners in scoring position. The naked eye, all right, cool. They almost hit 500 with runners in scoring position. That's not the headline. They had 20 at-bats with runners in scoring position, and they had a sac fly, and they had a bases-loaded walk. They were unstoppable yesterday, and they've been unstoppable for this entire homestand. It's amazing to see what has clicked since they came home. We talked about them being on life support while they were in Pittsburgh. Weather had something to do with that, obviously, because they have come home, and they have just took it out to the woodshed right now. So, starting with that Pittsburgh series, right? They get the 12 runs in Pittsburgh. Granted, they allowed 8 in that game, but they sweep Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh, only scoring 3 runs in the last 2 games of that. They come home for Chicago. 11 runs on Friday against Chicago. 9 runs on Saturday. They get shut out on Sunday against Marcus Stroman. You tip your cap. 6 runs on Tuesday. Brandon Woodruff gets the win. And then yesterday, 18 runs. They have hit 14 homers during this homestand in just 5 games. The record, by the way, is 19 for any 6-game stretch in Brewers history. So if they hit 5 homers tomorrow somehow, they will tie the record. Don't see that happening, but that'd be cool as well. The offense is amazing. I I really hope that it's not just a flash in the pan, given it is only the first week of May, but 17 hits is not to be ignored, along with 9 walks. And I know the Reds are not good, but only 6 strikeouts today for the Brewers as an offense. Also, very encouraging to see that they're hitting the ball well. Everybody that got into the game, with the exception of Keston Hiura, sorry, Keston, it's a drive-by, I apologize, but everyone with the exception of Keston reached base in yesterday's game. Furthermore, you look at the bottom half of this order. Luis Urias gets a multi-hit game. He reached base 4 times with a pair of walks. Lorenzo Cain got a couple of knocks and scored a run, also had a walk, also was hit by a pitch in the hand. You'll probably have the day off today. Victor Caratini goes 1 for 4 with a sac fly and also 2 runs batted in. He had a solid day as he was catching everybody. The only guys who didn't have a hit per se were Tyrone Taylor, Willie Adames, Jace Peterson, and Keston Hiura. Granted, Willie reached base 3 times with a hit by pitch and 2 walks. Hiura struck out, but Jace reached with a walk and Tyrone reached with a walk as well. Look, we can sit here and just smile and love every moment of it. It's good to see this happening against teams you're supposed to beat, right? They've dominated Pittsburgh. They're 6-0 against Pittsburgh. They're now 2-0 against Cincinnati. Vinny still believes, my normal co-host, Vinny Rottino, still believes they can win 100 games. I could see it now. I understand where he's coming from, given how bad these Reds are and how bad the Pirates have been. I don't know where they come from with the Cubs and the Cardinals. You're going to face New York 6-7 times, both New Yorks this year, by the way. The Yankees come to town in September. You're also going to be facing the Padres. You're going to be facing the Giants. You're going to be facing the Dodgers. The NL is deep, so I'm not saying you're going to go undefeated. You're not going to go 38-0 against the Reds and the Pirates. But the way I see it, that you get to 100 wins, you got to flirt with 30 wins against those two teams. I mean, you really do. Last year, the Reds obviously were a little more competitive, but let's replace the Reds with the Cubs from last season. So the Brewers were 15-4 against the Cubs and 14-5 against the Pirates. That's 29 wins right there. If you're going to win 100 games, you got to match that against the Pirates and the Reds this year, if not do better than that. Okay, so they're already at this point 8-0 with 30 games to go against the Reds and the Pirates. If you can steal series here and there against teams like the Mets, teams like the Dodgers, these really, really good teams, and steal's the wrong word. I can hear you shouting at your podcast device right now. But the thing is, they're good teams, okay? Right now, the Central is obviously in a downturn right now. The Cardinals are good. Cubs aren't great. They shut out the Brewers, so what do I say? But the NL is really, really deep. It's going to be hard to win 100 games in this modern era of baseball. The only way is if you're coming out of the Central. I hope it happens. Don't put that on them, okay? So let's talk a little more wax poetically here about Rowdy Tellez and what we expect out of him and what this offseason has been like for him in his comments postgame. Before we do that, I want to remind you about our friends at BlueNile.com. It's everyday fine jewelry. You got diamond jewelries, cocktail rings, tennis bracelets, gold layering. Jewelry, of course, is a gift, but with Mother's Day coming up, guys, it's on Sunday, okay? Like, if you haven't got something yet, you can help out. You can get some help with our friends at BlueNile.com. Look, if your mom prefers a statement piece or something subtle, BlueNile.com has everyday fine jewelry options for every mom out there. You can shop high-quality classic diamond earrings, tennis bracelets, gemstone pendant necklaces, and so much more. You can look for fine jewelry, but maybe you're not exactly know where to start. Blue Nile has jewelry experts on hand 24/7, available via phone or via chat to help you find a memorable gift at any budget. And it can help you celebrate the women in your life on BlueNile.com. You can easily navigate thousands of jewelry options at every single price point. So this Mother's Day, you can give mom something she'll treasure forever with fine jewelry from BlueNile.com. And if you use the promo code LOCKEDON, you're going to get $50 off $500. It's exclusive to Locked On listeners, okay? So, again, Blue Nile, Nile like the river, BlueNile.com, promo code LOCKEDON. You're going to get $50 off $500 or more. Every order is insured, it ships for free, and it arrives in discreet packaging that won't give away what's inside. Shop stress-free and find your forever piece at BlueNile.com today. Rowdy Tellez arrived to this team on July 6th, and Right now, looking back at the numbers, so he has now got 63 hits as a Brewer. Not all of these are starts, obviously. He's now got 14 homers, 15 doubles. He's got 49 runs batted in. It's pretty darn amazing what he's been able to do since joining the crew. We talked about him last year of like, all right, well, he'll be a nice piece. He got hurt at one point. Vogelback got hurt at one point. I mean, the belief at this point last year that Keston Hiura was going to be the first baseman, and you still had Travis Shaw on the roster, okay? The fact that Rowdy Tellez has walked in and solidified in just 80 games with the Brewers, hey, I'm your guy. I'm your everyday first baseman. And this was one of the bigger questions of the offseason. Are the Brewers going to give him a fair shake at first base? Yes, they have. And he even talked about it in yesterday's game, post-game, saying, from the top down, they've made it clear they're going to give me an opportunity. And with Craig Counsell, he's a huge fan of his. What he's been able to do with Rowdy Tellez, even Rowdy says it. It's like, I'm just so grateful they gave me the opportunity. And for the dude to run away with it like he is, he's now got 7 homers this season. He's hitting over 240 now. He's hitting 267, I beg your pardon. He's, again, 8 runs batted in, so that ups his total on the young season all the way up to 20. Let me find it. I'm all over the place on Baseball Reference right now for obvious reasons after yesterday's game. He's up to 21 RBIs now. He had 28 RBIs in 56 games with the Brewers last year. Okay, so he's going to obviously surpass that. He's not even at 100 games as a Brewer yet, but 80 games in, hitting over 260. He's got an OPS over 820. He's doing his job as an everyday first baseman. Is he an all-star? He should be. I believe he should be. He is one of the most important players on this team. Now, I understand it's going to be tough. And somebody tweeted to me in yesterday's game. He's playing like an all-star. He absolutely is. The problem is the National League is loaded at first base, right? Freddie Freeman, Matt Olson, Eric Hosmer's having an epic start to the season. It's going to be tough for Rowdy to get votes at first base. So, when the voting comes out, Brewers fans have got to be ready. I think of the Kansas City Royals as far as ballot stuffing goes. And we can have the conversation about another time about should fans be allowed to vote on All-Star. I'm cool with it to an extent. I think it should be weighted kind of like the NBA does it and have players and media and coaches help vote as well. And there's a partial part of that too, but it's going to be tough for Rowdy to be an all-star. Right now, he's playing at a level and at a pace that he can be considered an all-star. He's been the most consistent hitter on the Brewers this year, him and Andrew McCutchen. It's been amazing. And even, don't forget, C.J. Cron's leading baseball in homers right now. Yes, he plays in Colorado. He's got 9 bombs right now. So first base in the National League is going to be a very competitive spot in all-star voting. I just want to see the Brewers fans give him a fair chance to try to win, or at least make it there as a reserve, maybe as a DH. I don't know, but it's going to be tough given the All-Star game is in Los Angeles. Freddie Freeman's probably going to be the starting first baseman. That's what MLB wants. They want the big market superstar, yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. Look, Rowdy Tellez has been super important to the Brewers. We know the pitchers are going to be there just like last year. Look at Omar Narvaez last year. He gets onto the roster. It's a great feather in his cap. I would love that for Rowdy Tellez after what he dealt with in Toronto, having to look over his shoulder this whole time, with Vlad Jr. coming up. Look, first base is his for a long time coming. There is nobody breathing down his neck right now. You're telling me Chris Singleton or John Singleton? Is John Singleton going to be breathing down his neck? Or Tyler White? Evan Dillard? No. This is Rowdy's spot. And this is his next year will be his first year of arbitration. So you got team control for the next 3 years for him. He's your guy. There's no reason to move off of him. He's your everyday first baseman. He does well enough defensively at first base. We said it all offseason. Let's let him play first. And Keston Hiura was supposed to be the DH, and that clearly isn't working out. He's getting paid $1.9 million this year in his third year of service time. He was traded for pitchers Trevor Richards and Bowden Francis. Okay? And Richards, as we remember, was a good piece of the Brewers bullpen briefly. He's still with the Blue Jays. He's appeared in 11 games. He's got a 4.91 ERA so far this year. He's also allowed 3 homers. As in Bowden Francis, he has actually made his big league debut this year. He was in AAA for a while. Bowden Francis was originally signed in the 7th round out of JUCO in Chippewa College down in Florida. Look, you didn't give up a ton to get Rowdy Tellez to get an everyday first baseman for the next 3 years. Kudos again to David Stearns and company for what he's been able to blossom into here in Milwaukee. Again, team record, 8 RBIs in a single game. First time a Brewer's ever done that. His first 4-hit game, he gets 2 homers for the 6th time in his career and nearly got a third. And leads me to my next point, ranting about the Reds here in a second. If you bring in a position player, and this is one of the dumb unwritten rules in baseball, if you bring in a position player and want the other team to take it easy, I say heck to the no. Heck to the no. The whole Yermin Mercedes debacle last year with Tony La Russa, where he allegedly showboated a 3-0 home run, getting a lollipop down the middle from Williams Astudillo and Tony La Russa kind of chewed him out for it. The other team should be chewed out. There are big leaguers on that side, and you're bringing in a position player to pitch. I get it, it's a blowout, you want to save an arm, yada, yada. You're 3-20. What are you trying to save? You can't get mad for the other team hitting the slow pitch softballs you're throwing, okay? Okay, so if that was a grand slam for Rowdy last night, he missed it by a couple of feet, cool, it's a grand slam forever. I don't care that it was off a position player. Because you earned that right to have the other team scream uncle and say, we can't do this anymore. Hopefully he gets an out, right? You can't do that. I'm totally fine with it. Everybody's swinging for the fences. I'm all in for it. I do not care. I personally hate position players pitching. I know that makes me a fun sucker, but it shouldn't happen in the big leagues. I'm sorry. All right. Sorry, Reds. Anyway, before we move on to our next final segment talking about going for the sweep and just briefly previewing this big road trip coming up, I'll tell you about our next partner, a product I've used before. I started taking AG1 Athletic Greens as we're getting ready for caddy season again. I actually have my first loop tomorrow morning, so I can't wait for that. Shout out to Aaron Hills. And look, I didn't have time to get all the nutrients I needed in the morning, and it's so easy to grab my coffee, grab my AG1, and incorporate it into my life. Look, 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food-sourced superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens. I mean, these are fancy words, right? But they're actually all good for you. Look, it's super easy to have the importance of a multivitamin with so many folks doing that already. But it's important to choose one with high-quality ingredients that your body will be able to absorb. And AG1 has a small micro habit with huge benefits. It's one thing you can do every single day to take care of yourself. I feel great when I'm out there looping, carrying 2 bags. I know I can make it through a day where I'm carrying bags, then going to do stats in the Brewers booth, and then doing this podcast with you guys. And AG1, it costs less than $3 a day. You're investing in your health, and it's cheaper than your cold brew habit, all right? It's cheaper than getting all the different individual vitamins that you would need individually for yourself. You're investing in an all-in-one nutritional insurance, and they have over 7,000 5-star reviews recommended by professional athletes, trusted by leading health experts such as Tim Ferriss and Michael Gervais. So, to make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/MLB Network. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/MLB Network to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. Of course, we're also brought to you by betonline.net, your number one source for all of your sports betting stats and sports info. Bucks, Celtics, Game 3 coming up. I know Game 2 didn't go everyone's way. It's all good. Some playoff basketball yesterday. We got some good series going on right now in the semifinals. You can find all the latest sports developments, league reviews, news, playoff odds, baseball odds. Of course, Kentucky Derby, first Saturday in May, right? It is back this coming Saturday. All the info you need is at BetOnline. You can head to their website or use your phone to find out all about the trends and get in on the action at BetOnline, where the game starts. Looking ahead here now for Milwaukee. So today it'll be the Brewers and the Reds going for the finale. And Brewers, again, gravy day, as Bill Schroeder likes to say, going for the sweep. And it'll be Adrian Hauser against some velo. Hunter Green getting the start for the Reds. Hotshot prospect, has not been off to a great start. He's 22 years old, though. He's got time. He dazzled everybody in Los Angeles, going 5 innings, only allowing 2 earned runs. But since that great start, he's allowed 7 earned runs over his last 8 innings. He's also walked 8 batters over those 8 innings and only struck out 9. He's going to bring the gas. He sits 99-100 with the fastball. So he's going to strike out guys. Granted, one of those starts was in Colorado, always tough to pitch. In fact, that was his last start. So see how he bounces back from reacting to that. Former top prospect in the organization. He is a big part of the Reds' future. And he'll be going up against Adrian Hauser, who, ho-hum, has a 2.53 ERA this season. The 29-year-old's been terrific this year, making his 5th start of the year. He is 2-2, a 2.53 ERA, just 6 earned runs allowed. He has walked 10 batters and struck out 16, so want to get the control back in the reins, and he has an opponent's average of 197. It is gravy day. Brewers offense has been great this series so far. But to hold them to this standard of facing the Reds, like you would hope that they would do this against the Braves, it's going to be tough to pitch against the Braves. They have not announced their starters yet at the time of recording for who the Braves will be throwing against them. But the Brewers, as you look at it, Ashby will be getting a start this coming series in Atlanta. So pulling up the rotation here in just a second. But it's another thought that you're getting an extra day. You're getting guys ready for Corbin Burnes and Brandon Woodruff. It does look like it's going to be a great, great lineup here for the Brewers pitching staff moving forward here. But again, this 3-city road trip here in the month of May is going to be a good one. It's going to be a tough one. So you start with 3 in Atlanta against the Braves starting tomorrow. Then you go to Cincinnati, not the tough part. Off day Thursday, headed down to Miami, and 3 games against Miami. Now, they can't really hit, but man, they can pitch, and it's a massive ballpark. So Atlanta, always going to be tough, of course, defending World Series champions. Reds, not so tough, but it is a bandbox. You never know what can happen. Marlins, good pitching and a big ballpark is a tough combination before returning home for 6 more games, a 6-game homestand against the Braves and the Nationals. So that's what's looking ahead here for the Brewers. And the next time through the rotation is how it looks for the next 3 games in Atlanta. Eric Lauer will go tomorrow. Aaron Ashby will go on Sunday, with Corbin Burnes going on regular rest on Saturday. So Burnes he pitched on Sunday, so he will now pitch on Saturday. They're giving Woodruff until Monday. They're sliding in Ashby on Sunday. So then you would expect Corbin Burnes to then get the start the following Friday in the opener in Miami after the off day. And then you have another off day the following week, so you can use all 6 guys and give Burnes an extra day off if you so wish, or you can just go on normal rest and have him pitch in the Padres series. This is the stuff that they're already thinking about. It's kind of wild when you start getting the nitty-gritty. Fun stats in this one. This one came from Stats Perform, that both Willy Adames and Rowdy Tellez have had a game now that is 4 hits, 3 extra base hits, 2 homers, and 7 runs batted in at least. Since the RBI came official in 1920, no team has had 2 players do that in a single game in the same season. 2 guys do that exact stat line. 4 hits, 3 of them for extra bases, 2 of them homers, at least 7 RBIs. The Brewers have had 2 games like that. They're the first team ever to have 2 players do that in the same season. So that's pretty darn cool. And to do it in a little over a week apart, that's even cooler. So the way things are rolling, We Show is back. The offense is healthy. The pitching staff is healthy enough. Yes, Josh Hader has back spasms, but it does not sound major. He was doing PFPs yesterday. He's out there moving around. He will be just fine. So I promised a story here at the end of the podcast about why there was no episode yesterday. So for those of you who don't know, I also do stats on a national level. I fill in on occasion for the MLB on TBS package. And normally I'm working with Brian Anderson, of course. But on Tuesday, I flew out to Los Angeles and got to work with the Hall of Famer Bob Costas and Ron Darling. Always an honor to work with Bob, and I worked with him during the NLCS last year. It was great, but that's not the point of the story. So I travel a lot. I have pre-check. I'm a very prepared traveler. I'm notoriously on time and things like that. But as I arrived at Dodger Stadium on Tuesday, I realized I didn't have my wallet as I walked through security. It becomes an entire ordeal. and I'm trying to figure out where is it. I must have left it in the hotel room, and I was planning on taking a red eye back. And I was planning, here was my plan. This is the reason why we didn't have a podcast yesterday. My plan was, because I love you guys so much, is I was going to hang out in the Sky Lounge, not a brag, sorry, go up to the Sky Lounge and record the podcast. Just find a booth, quiet area, and record the podcast. Then 15, 20 minutes, talk about the game, get in, get out, hop on my 12:45 flight back home. But without an ID, how was I going to get through security? So, long story short, the hotel doesn't have it. Dodger Stadium doesn't have it. It's not in the booth. It's not in my bags. I've dumped them out 3 times. I have to spend another night in the hotel, which isn't a big deal. But basically, scouring the TSA website, I have to figure out, okay, they will allow me to go through security with an extra questionnaire. So, if you're ever in a pinch and you realize, oh my God, where's my ID? And you have a flight to catch, try to get there early. Give yourself plenty of time. Explain calmly to the TSA officers, hey, I have no idea where my ID is, or it was stolen, things like that. They deal with this kind of stuff all the time. I greatly, greatly appreciate the TSA agents. They were super friendly and super nice, understanding that I made the mistake, and I owed it too. Lost my wallet. Fast forward now. First of all, I found out the wallet was found. It's on its way back, so that's cool. Fast forward now to yesterday's game. As we're exiting the stadium, all of us in the crew, Renee, our stage manager, Jeff, and Bill, and myself, whenever we open the door and we feel the cold of, early May in Milwaukee, and I was just in Los Angeles, so it was 75 degrees and perfect. So Bill Schroeder, as I walk out and say, man, not in Los Angeles anymore. And he goes, well, your wallet is. Pretty darn good line. Thanks for the reminder, Rock. So, again, treat your TSA agents with kindness, and hopefully they can let you through. But also, just don't forget your ID when you're trying to fly. So, shout out to the Dodger Stadium employees who found my wallet. Much appreciated. To Josh, who found the wallet. And, don't lose your wallet when you're traveling. It's no fun. That's why there was no episode yesterday. Brewers play today at 12:40. All right, that's it for this episode. Shout out to Rowdy Telez. Shout out to everybody who's listening. My name is Dominic Catronio. Go ahead and follow us on Twitter at LockedOnBrewers or myself at Dom_Catronio. Until next time, keep on swinging.
You are Locked On Brewers, your daily Milwaukee Brewers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.